I'm Alex Worth, the Executive Director at Molalla River Watch, the Watershed Council here for the Molalla River. We're standing on the Ogle Creek Bridge here on the upper Molalla River, pretty close to our headwaters. And behind me, you can see a very large structure of logs that we placed this morning with the help of some contractors and with Columbia helicopters who placed those logs in the jam. We got about 50 to 60 logs in that jam, and it's formed one big structure. And we placed that there specifically to help the wild winter steelhead, the spring chinook that call this place home. They're endangered species listed on the lower Willamette, and it's a very important part of the watershed for them. These fish spawn in these upper parts of the watershed. You can't see it underneath the logs at this point, but before we placed them in there, the river was completely scoured down to bedrock. There's very little rock or cobble or gravel in there. And the reason we chose that location to put this log jam here is to start to build that base up again. When the water comes up in the wintertime, it deposits all of that cobble, gravel, sand into these structures, and it starts to build the riverbed up again. Without that there, with the water just traveling downstream like a chute really quickly, it's very difficult for the fish to find a safe place to live. And it's very difficult for them to find that gravel that they need to create spawning ground. So what we've done here, we've created sort of the start of the process. And hopefully we can come back in a couple of years and see the effects on the habitat quality for fish here. The other advantage is when we slow this water down by increasing the amount of friction that it's traveling through, it's going to go sideways a little bit. It's going to go down into the ground. And we call that subsurface flow, hyporeic flow. When that water goes under the ground, it acts like a spring when it comes out. It cools it down, it filters it out, and that helps both the fish, the wildlife, and it also helps the people downstream that rely on the Molalla River for drinking water.
Hi, I'm Liz Perkin, former Northern Oregon Coordinator for Native Fish Society, currently with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife Eastern Research Fish Team. And just to provide some background about how this happened, it's actually a really neat story relating back to the long-time river stewardship of Terry Rogers and Tom Derry, who worked with ODFW over a long time period, building trust, building relationships, doing spawning ground surveys, just checking in, staying in touch. And so when the fires of 2020 happened, and unfortunately that was a very tragic thing, but that led to this unique opportunity to give back and restore this river that has actually needed restoration for a really long time. Native Fish Society was really well posed to help out with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. They actually reached out to Native Fish Society and said, hey, we need a nonprofit partner to help us write these grants, secure these grants to help out this watershed that we all care about so much. And so it was really that great opportunity. And then, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife is really who they had the relationships with Fruit Grower Supply Company, which is an amazing private landowner, already doing a lot of stewardship on their own. With the Bureau of Land Management, with some of the contractors who do the design work, brought us all together and really created this amazing team that allowed this restoration to happen in this watershed.
I'm Dave Stewart. I work with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. I'm a stream restoration biologist for the North Willamette Watershed District. And I'm really excited about this project because it's been many years now that we've been talking about it. We've been now implementing projects, and it's a priority area for ODFW for recovery of endangered species. We focus on salmon, steelhead, all the trout species in my job. So I think the biggest thing for me is just the partnership, the fact that ODFW cannot do this on our own, recovering these species. So working with the native fish, with the BLM, with all the groups we work with, fruit growers, it's important that we're have these great partnerships, because that's how we're going to move the needle on recovery. So we're taking 15. So if we get 2 more here, maybe we get another turn or 2. So we get this one, and then also the big ones.
Yeah, let's go. I'll go full flag. Capo Ali.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can watch them right here.
And I can pop down there and see if you're going. I can just go down there and do that too. Wait, no.
I mean,
V points downstream.
V pointing down. You're gonna have more tips running on river left.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm Peter Kaus, hydrologist for the Northwest Oregon District Bureau of Land Management. The history of this partnership starts with the 2020 Labor Day fires, but it reaches back all the way to 1850 and the start of logging in this area. This aquatic restoration is helping with water quality, listed fish, and replanting and reforestation. The Bureau of Land Management has land above and below fruit growers' private timber in the upper Molalla watershed. Just as the river knows no boundaries flowing downstream, or the salmon knows none flowing upstream to spawn, this partnership is able to cross imaginary lines on the map and make a better overall watershed restoration plan. Myself, what do I bring to the project? My predecessor, a long time now retired fish bio for the federal government, told me once that I stand on the shoulders of those that came before me, and specifically those in waders. And so I'm bringing multiple generations of BLMers, aquatic restoration knowledge from different basins in Western Oregon, and being able to apply what we've learned here where it's needed in the Molalla. From a process geomorphology standpoint, we are trying to mimic 2,000 years of natural processes. We're trying to accelerate what would naturally happen if humans just walked away and let the river do the work. But it takes a really long time for a 500-year-old tree to grow and then fall, and another 500-year-old tree to grow and fall onto that, and degrade the river. And these degraded systems, what I mean by degraded is we've literally had channels cut down to bedrock, where 2,000 years ago we would have seen feet on feet of material, boulders, gravel, large wood. All of that has been washed away from land use practices over the time. So we were trying to mimic large wood with smaller wood. Hence the engineering factor of using smaller pieces of wood in a Lincoln log type jam function to recreate the natural processes of the river.
So this has been an incredible project to work on. We have a collaborative of multiple different organizations. My organization, Molalla River Watch, Watershed Council, Native Fish Society, who was originally awarded the grant, and we've worked with them as project managers. Bureau of Land Management, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. We've worked with several different contractors. Outside of that, we worked with Green Up Logging and operations. They've been the equipment operators and really the people that have gotten this work done. But I think the most incredible part of this partnership is getting to work with Fruit Growers Supply Company. They're the property owners here. They're a timber company, foresters, and they really have kind of set a new standard for being incredible stewards for their land. They're conservation minded, and they've done most of the work with outreach and getting the ball rolling on these projects. And this partnership is something that's incredibly meaningful to us because it means we have the place to do the restoration that we want to do. We have people that are excited about it, people that are willing to support us, and it really is wonderful to have this partnership with a forestry company like Fruit Growers Supply Company.
So this work is really important and personal to me. I grew up in the Molalla River watershed. I get really emotional talking about it, thinking about it. This watershed shaped me as a fish ecologist, as a river ecologist. I grew up fishing here and swimming in these waters. It's a very different watershed now, but you know, it's always needed some help and restoration. It has a long history of mining, of some historic logging practices that were really damaging to the system, removed a lot of the large wood from the system, and also just created this system that has kind of dug down deeper and deeper and has found its own stable state that's not a good stable state. And so it needs kind of a big adjustment, needs actually us to come in and change it a bit. And that's actually then leading not only to improved fish habitat through the addition of large wood, but that addition of large wood is also then capturing sediments, helping with water quality for the communities of Molalla and Canby downstream that draw drinking water out of this important river. The Molalla River is critical habitat for ESA-listed steelhead and Chinook. It's kind of the red-headed stepchild of the Willamette River Basin. It's the only east side tributary that doesn't have a major dam on it. And it also, the steelhead hatchery program ended in 1998. And so this watershed is really crucial for us to take care of and invest in.
So this project is really exciting, especially now that we're just coming off of finishing a project for this year. And I think we've started small, and we've kind of built up as we've gone. We've gotten more funding now to do bigger projects. So today we were out there implementing with a helicopter. We had big equipment. We were doing a big project, and it really all came together, I think, this year. We've had great partners that have made this happen. ODFW has just had a small role in all this, but I think together it's just been real exciting to put this together. And again, recovery is our #1 reason I have a job, to get these salmon and steelhead populations back to meeting the recovery goals. And this is how we get it done. So I'm excited that we're out here with all the partners today, from the construction companies, everybody. It was just a great feeling to get it done. And that's all about all you have to say about it.
The experience as a partner has been rewarding to see all of our different talents come together on this whole watershed restoration project.